Story 1. Not paying for my brother and his family's vacation? I, 28F, have an older brother Adam, 30M, and my Stephanie sister-in-law, 28F. Every year my family and I take a big trip, and time of year depends on everyone's schedules. This year we collectively agreed for the second week in December. Those going on the trip include my husband Justin, 33M, and I, our twin 2-year-olds, my parents, and my brother, Sil, and their 3-year-old. My mom always makes all of the travel arrangements to ensure everyone is on the same flights, kids sit with parents, hotels are the same, etc. Everyone is on their own for getting to and from the airport at home, but my mom makes car arrangements from the destination airport to the hotel and hotel to airport when leaving. While my mom makes the arrangements, my husband and I always Zelle/Venmo my mom for our portion of flights and hotels. My brother and Sil do the same thing. This year everyone agreed to Disney World in Orlando. My mom as usual made all the reservations and whatnot about 2 months ago. My husband and I paid my mom our portion about a week after the reservations were made. Last night Adam texted husband asking if we had paid my parents yet. He said we had a while back. Adam then asked Justin if we could pay his family's portion of the trip. Not sure if everyone has been to Disney, but it's ridiculously expensive these days. Justin told him we couldn't swing it with our budget at the time. We both work full-time and make decent money, but we don't have the kind of money that is just throwaway. My brother and Sil both also work full-time, and my nephew is not in daycare. My brother's mother-in-law watches him free, while we pay for 2 kids in daycare. Adam responded with well okay then, and quit texting him. Cue to this morning where I woke up to several texts from Adam calling Justin an a-hole for nothing, being a good brother and paying for their family. I told Adam I agreed with Justin and we just can't swing the money for them in our budget. I apologized and told Adam he was out of line for calling Justin an a-hole and wouldn't stand for it. Adam again asked me to pay and said it could be our Christmas present to him, my Sil and my nephew. If I had the spare money to do it that way, I would, but I don't have the ability to do that, so I can't. I told him I couldn't do it and told him to reach out to our parents about a payment plan or something. Adam called Justin and I and said we ruined their vacation. Comment 1. NTA. Your brother left it to the very last minute in order to manipulate you into paying. I have no doubt that he has known for a long time that he could not swing it financially. He should have backed out before your parents made the bookings and paid for everything. He is a major for leaving others with the bill. Comment 2. NTA et al. Your brother sounds pretty damned entitled to expect someone else to foot the bill for his wife's, and his kids' trip to go see Mickey. Not your problem. If they couldn't afford it, they should have raised the issue when the trip was being planned. Either suggest an alternative that is more affordable, or just bow out of this trip altogether. They shouldn't raise the issue only after mom had booked everything. Comment 3. NTA. We went to Disney World in June 2022. We stayed at a Disney resort and only went to the Magic Kingdom. It was quite costly. The food isn't cheap, either. I recommend paying the extra for the refillable cups. Anyway, your brother and his family will have to miss out this year. It isn't your responsibility to pay their way. Maybe they can set up a payment plan with your mom if she is cool with it. Other than that, they're probably shite out of luck. Because they knew about the yearly or whatever vacation. They could have been squirreling away money for the trip. Have fun on your vacation. Story 2. My sister told us not to let our kids go, and we listened. My husband and I have a twin, Jack and Clara. They made a new friend, Joshua. He came to our house multiple times and slept over once. They wanted to go to his place. We've met his parents. They looked very responsible. After a couple of visits, my son told me that Josh's older sister, 18 to 19, is weird. When she watched them play a video game or something, she always seemed to linger and weirdly watch them. She attempts to talk to them but doesn't really say anything. She tried to get closer to them but they don't like it when she does that. It wasn't surprising to me. When we went to visit once, we talked about our kids and theirs, including Josh's sister. If she had friends, she wouldn't have tried to befriend younger kids. One day, our kids were having a sleepover at Josh's, in addition to another friend, Sarah. We dropped them off, said hi to the parents, and left. Clara is a very light sleeper. If anyone walks into the room, she'll wake up. Since Josh sometimes snores, his parents prepared the guest room for Clara to sleep in. The guest room is beside Josh's, his sister and the parents' rooms. So, during that sleepover, Clara woke up and saw that Josh's sister was in her room standing by the door. The girl said that the air conditioner didn't work in her room and she felt hot. She apologized and left. I don't know how the girl managed to walk in, close the door, and wander the room without Clara waking up. After the girl left, Clara stayed awake for a while, then went to check on her brother and to go to the bathroom. She walked and saw the girl leaving Josh's room, where Josh, Jack, and Sarah were sleeping. The girl said she forgot her charger in there. She was holding a charger, so Clara didn't think she was lying, but it was scary at night. She told Clara to go and sleep unless she didn't like the guest's room. She could sleep in her parents' room, or hers. Clara said thanks, but I'm comfortable in the guest's. According to Clara, the girl was very calm and composed, not fazed at all by her being seen acting like this. As if she wasn't caught. As I said, we knew the girl was weird. My husband and I didn't see anything so alarming. But my sister did. I always listen to my sister because I am not good at decision-making and judging. I've always tried to learn from her, but she is more socially aware. My husband is just like me. We decided to not let our kids go there unless the big sister wasn't in the house. So, when they told us they wanted to go the next weekend, we didn't allow it. Our kids didn't complain much, but Josh and his parents weren't happy when we told them our kids would only come if their daughter wasn't there because she is questionable and unsettling to be around. The parents were mad and my husband said I was rude. Comment 1. It is not normal for an older teen to be looking in on younger kids that way. If the kids feel she is off, she probably is. I'd put the kibosh on sleepovers over there. From now on, sleepovers are only at your house. Comment 2. NTA. But they need to be told specifically, not that they can't be there if the older sister is around, but that your child woke up and she was in their room in the middle of the night for no reason and it's creepy and a problem. A problem they need to deal with. That your kid also saw her walk out of the other kid's room in the middle of the night. You need to tell them the thing that made you scared to have your kids around them. They both need to know and deserve to know you have a valid reason to be worried. Comment 3. You are severely underreacting, and yes, you were rude to the host parents. You need to call those parents now and tell them explicitly what happened. Your vagueness was in fact rude. It says to them that you just think their kid is weird without an explanation. They may not be aware of this behavior, and they need to be made aware so that they either address it. You need to call Sarah's parents and advise them of what happened. They deserve to know that this is not necessarily a safe home for their daughter to sleep at or to visit while unsupervised. Story 3. Telling my wife nobody cares about her small business. My wife, 27F, owns an Etsy shop where she sells handmade jewelry. She has some real talent and the jewelry she sells is genuinely very nice and high quality. She gets a surprising amount of sales on there too, and has great reviews. The issue is that everywhere we go, every conversation she has, she slips in something about her shop and tries to promote it. Talking to a friend, she'll casually mention a big sale she made or a custom order she got and not very subtly mention that she'd give her friend a coupon or something similar. Talking to our waiter, she'll mention that she has a pair of earrings on her shop that would complement their eyes. Talking to someone online, she'll somehow manage to say as the owner of a small business. She literally cannot have a conversation anywhere with anyone without trying to sell them her jewelry. The other day was a family member's birthday, and they were having a decently sized get-together with just other family members and a few close friends. I went with my wife, And she's a pretty social person even outside of promoting her shop, so she was quickly making conversation with my family. Of course, not 5 minutes later she was showing someone the bracelet she had on that she made and mentioning that she sells them and talking about how since they were family she would happily give them a 25% discount. She probably had that exact same conversation with at least 5 people during the 2 hours we were there. As soon as we left I spoke to her and said she needs to quit doing that. I told her if people were actually interested, they would ask her about her store, but not every single person she talks to wants or needs to hear about her art. She got upset and said that she just wants to spread her product and doesn't see what she's doing wrong and hasn't spoken to me much since. I feel like I'm the asshole since I will admit I had a pretty harsh tone and could have been a lot nicer during that conversation, plus I get she's just trying to sell her products, even if it gets obnoxious. Comment 1. There's middle ground here, but I'm going with YTA because of your delivery. She has a right and, if she's really trying to make a go of the business, an obligation to promote herself. She chooses to do it informally, person to person, which is just fine. I can see, however, that the two of you probably need to have a no business hats night where the focus is on each other. Maybe bring that up, gently, after apologizing to her for being TA here. Comment 2. NTA My Sil has done every pyramid scheme ever invented, and is constantly trying to sell me her crap. When we announced we were getting married, she tried to sell me weight loss body wraps. When my cat died, she wanted me to buy a custom water bottle she was selling with the cat paw prints on it. My bridal party she tried to sell me kitchen gadgets. In not saying Etsy is a pyramid scheme, but when every conversation is about selling things it comes off as tone deaf and insensitive. Comment 3. ESH. Her for pushing her products on anyone and everyone she has a conversation with. That's not going to help her business in the long run. And family should be off limits unless they specifically ask her about her shop, because clearly they've all heard about it by now. But you are also TA for the way you talked with her. Story 4, backing out of a wedding because they want to screen me? I, 27F, have been invited by my friend Tom, 32M, as A+1 to his older brother's wedding, 36M. Tom and I met at a party and have been friends for 10 years. He asked me out when we first met and I said no. He's been in a few relationships over the years and had a long-term girlfriend for 4 years. Tom broke up with his long-term GF in March and asked me out quite a few times afterwards. This caused tension within our friendship, but the last time we spoke about it, he seemed to understand that I wasn't interested, and a relationship with me was never going to be on the table. His family has been putting pressure on him settling down and getting married, especially since his brother got engaged. He asked me if I could be his +1 to his big brother's wedding so he wouldn't go alone, and I, reluctantly, said yes. Tom told his brother about me, and his brother said he'd like to meet me before the wedding in case it's awkward and he doesn't want anyone ruining his wedding. I thought this was a tad strange because I'm only A+1. I'm not part of the wedding party. But I said sure, arrange something if you want to. Tom's brother has since told his mother and father about me. Now his mother wants to meet me before the wedding too, as Tom said, just to make sure you'll fit in with everyone. I feel like I'm being screened and I'm finding it kind of offensive. I'm starting to think maybe Tom has implied I'm more than a friend to his family. It's making me uncomfortable. Comment 1. Tom is the R. He thinks you'll play along with his con if he puts you in a situation where everyone thinks the two of you are together. Sounds like he's already telling the family you're finally on board, and is betting you won't make a scene about it at someone else's wedding. His end game is probably that you'll have so much fun playing GF you'll finally get over yourself and realize you've been obtuse this whole time, and that he's as perfect for you as he's repeatedly told you he is, /s. I've been this girl, OP, and Tim will never respect that you're not interested in him. Back out of the wedding, and if you feel like it, take a massive step back from the friendship. He's not your friend if he's only sticking around to sleep with you. NTA. OP comment. It's just so disheartening that a friend of 10 years was potentially only sticking around to see what they could get. His actions over the last few months since his breakup have made me think that you might be right and he's not actually listening, just holding out. Comment 2. NTA if you dropped out. You are A+1 that is going to a wedding with a friend that doesn't want to go alone, not applying for work in the Black Ops part of NSA and not in anything more than a platonic relationship with the guy. It's possible his family has concerns about the kind of people he has historically brought to family events, but that is their, and his, issue, not yours. Extra story, giving my inheritance to my sister and giving nothing to my brother? I 36 female have a brother Keith, 34, and a sister Ashley, 22. Keith and I have the same mom and dad. Our parents divorced when we were 7. Our dad married our stepmother and Ashley is my dad and stepmother's daughter. Ashley is technically my half-sister, but she is my best friend and I love her more than anything. Keith and I have never been close despite having the same parents. My dad bought his house with my stepmother when I was 18 and Keith was 16. I have no sentimental attachment to the house since I didn't live in it long and my sister lived there her whole life. My brother was never really close to our dad and always said he disliked our dad. My stepmother passed away a few years ago. Our father passed away this year from cancer. Ashley and I helped take care of him, so Keith already knew his portion of the estate would be much less. Our father left Keith 10% of the estate, me 45%, and Ashley 45%. Ashley is still in college. Keith is working and traveling. I am happily married to my husband and we are not struggling by any means. My husband and I talked and told Ashley we'd make our guest bedroom into a room for her so she always has somewhere to come home to during college breaks. And my husband told me he promised my father we'd pay for the remainder of Ashley being in school as long as she has good grades. My father paid for Keith and I to go to college and had the same plans for Ashley. My husband and I also decided that we don't need the money from my father's estate, so my portion could go to Ashley for her to have some money when college ended. She could also decide to keep the house and live there. My husband said we could buy out my brother's 10% if she couldn't. Keith found out about this and has completely flipped out. He doesn't think it's fair we're giving this much to Ashley. He's told our mother how I'm a monster of a sister and don't care about him. My mother has taken his side and said I'm favoring Ashley and could have divided it between her and Keith. Ashley is 22 and Keith is 34. They're at different parts of their life and Keith and I still have at least one parent. I'm getting texts from family and friends that Keith has told saying how awful I'm being to him. So, comment 1. Your money, your choice, period. Keith has a lot of nerve given the fact he did nothing for your dad while he was alive, remind him of that, and your mother too. There is always one greedy asshole in the family, and guess who got that title in yours, Keith? Yes, Mom, who shouldn't even involve herself in this matter, can leave Keith her estate if she finds it so unfair. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. Your brother did not get along with your dad and your dad had his reasons for giving him a 10% share. People get disinherited all the time. Sometimes it is because they don't get along with a relative. Sometimes the relative thinks someone else in the family needs more help. Even if we all think you are NTA and your heart is in the right place, what you are doing might not be 100% legal. Maybe talk to a lawyer to make sure you are following all the rules regarding the trust. Your brother has 10% of the estate, which probably means he has some right and you have to respect those rights. Comment 3. While it's your money, your choice, your brother has zero obligation to allow you to buy his portion, and you are playing with fire here in that regard. 10% compared to 90 is also an oof, even not helping. As long as you're okay losing your relationship with your brother, proceed. I get the feeling he may have been potentially unfairly punished for being less okay with the divorce than you, reading between the lines here.